Hi everyone, welcome back to Stamp with Anna. Today I'm going to show you a last project that we made at our Halloween class a few weeks ago. I did not make this project. This project was made by a fellow demonstrator. Her name is Barbara Lash, and we went to Barbara's house the end of August for a teen appreciation event, and Barbara gave us all these cute little favors, one of many things that she bestowed on us. But anyway, we did make this at a class. I'm going to change it up just a tiny bit today, but I do want to show you what we're using from the holiday catalog. We're using the Monster Bash suite. This is a great suite. We have this Spooktacular Bash stamp set in the Ornate Frames stamp set, which is available as a bundle for 10% off. So we're going to be using that. We're going to be using the Stylish Scroll Embossing Folder. This is a great one. I like this. And we're going to use just a strip of this paper here, the Monster Bash Designer Series paper. But the main event is this Coffin treat box here. And they come 12 boxes for $7, which is a great bargain. And they're made from Stampin' Up's 80-pound basic black cardstock, so that will, it's a nice sturdy box. And although Barbara used this new scalloped edge ribbon, I'm not using that. I had some black satin ribbon that I'm going to use as well. And one last thing that Barbara used that I did not use, Barbara used this new product here called Shimmery Crystal Effects. And I don't know if you can see this on hers. She put a mummy on her coffin, and she put the little shimmery effects right here on his eyes and on a bit of his wrapping. I'm not using that. If you have, back in the day, Stampin' Up! Used to sell it, but they don't anymore. If you have glossy accents, this is made by Inkessentials. That works just as well as the shimmery one, except it doesn't have shimmer in it. So if you do have some glossy accents, you can use that. But because I'm going to change mine up a bit, I'm not putting a mummy on mine. I'm going to put Dracula on mine. So let's get started. Here is these. This is how the boxes come. This is the bottom, and this is the top, and they're all pre-scored and pre-cut. So all you really have to do is put it together. You can use a little bit of fast fuse, snail, depending on what you're going to put in it. Snail might not be strong enough. If you're just going to make it light, especially the bottom, you want something stronger than snail. The top part here, I am going to put a band of Designer Series paper around it, so that is going to keep it together. So you can certainly use snail for the top. But like I said, it's all pre-scored. So what I'm going to do is just going to show you how I'm going to do it, and then I'm not going to have you watch me do it, because that would just be really boring. So here I have some, for the bottom part here, I'm just going to go in and fold all these. And you know, if you buy a package of these and they're 12, you can certainly make a template from it. You just have to trace it and then follow all of the scores. So see, this goes just like this. I'm going to use fast fuse because I'm going to put candy corn in mine. And I'm going to just put a tad there and come in and just put my lines up. And you can see it's really very, very simple to do. Okay? So I'm going to do this off camera, and then I'll come back with my finished product. Okay, I'm all finished with my box. The box is all put together. Now, the one thing I will suggest is when you're putting your box together, certainly attach or apply your adhesive to all of your tabs before you start putting it together. That way you still have a smooth surface while you're applying your adhesive. Otherwise you'll have bulk. Now you can see that this is embossed, and I embossed it using this new folder that I pointed out. It's called the Stylish Scroll Embossing Folder. It is not a 3D embossing folder. It's a regular one. And this is just gorgeous, and I thought that just added such a nice look to my coffin. So there's my coffin. Now I'm going to decorate the side of my coffin. And here Barbara used the strip of paper. Let me show you. This is the paper here, all the different pieces here. And Barbara used a strip from this one here that has the bats in it. And I'm going to use the reverse side of that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that I start my seam somewhere towards the edge, because when I finish it off, I don't want to have a seam right in the middle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in my silicone pad here. And I am going to apply, I still have fast fuse, so I use it. If you don't have fast fuse, you can use tear tape, you can use snail, any kind of liquid adhesive is fine. But I'm going to use my fast fuse because I have it and I love the way it bonds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here on the bottom. And I'm going to, see right here, that crease? I'm just going to bring this over just a tiny bit right there. Okay? And then I'm going to bend as I go. So there's that. I'm going to bend and just press this down, keeping an eye out to make sure it stays nice and straight. I'm getting to another groove, so I'm going to give it a little bend, another corner, and another bend. And I'm just going to go all the way around the cover of my coffin. Try to keep that nice and straight. Okay, so now when I get to this end here, make sure that is good and adhered evenly, I'm going to bring this over right here, and with my snips, try to glue on, I'm going to just snip that off so that I have a nice clean corner, and you really can't tell where I finished that off. And so that's going to go right there. Now I'm going to do the stamping of the top of my coffin. And for that, I'm going to use, like I said, this Spooktacular Bash. And I'm going to use this vampire here. Barbara used this mummy here. And I'm going to use the vampire. And then what I'm going to use for my die cutting is, this is the Coordinating Ornate Framelit set, and this is great even if it's not for Halloween. These frames are awesome. I'm going to use, there's two of these here, they nest. I'm going to use the larger of the two to cut out my vampire, and then I'm going to use this ornate black one. This is actually, I used this on a Halloween card we did last week. It's very, very intricate, but it's really nice. The thing I have to do is stamp my vampire. And I'm going to bring in my Memento Black. And this is just a tiny piece of scrap paper that I had. And it happened to be just the right size to fit my vampire. So I'm going to come down, straight down, and straight up. Now I'm going to color them in. In the new blends, there is a marker that the color is ivory. So that's what I'm going to use to color his skin in. And vampires are pretty pale, so I thought this looked okay. And I'm just going to try to avoid the tops of his eyes because I do want the white showing there. And that's real colors real quick. These are great, great markers. They're nice and smooth. Now, that's pretty much what he is, right? But you see Barbara, she used this Granny Apple Green and it gives it a little bit of pop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Real Red blend. This is the light Real Red blends. And I'm going to use the fine tip and I'm just going to color in this bow tie. I'm going to make that red because I just want a little pop of color there. Then for the frame, I think I'm going to use the light pumpkin pie. I'm not sure if I'm going to use light or if I'm going to use dark, but I'm going to start with the light. And I'm going to use the fine tip on this one because this is a little thin. And I want to make sure that I do it as neatly as possible. I'm just going to go over my whole frame. Perfect. He's got a little bit of color. So now what I'm going to do is go over to my Big Shot, and I'm going to cut him out. And I'm also going to cut out my ornate frame. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with my pieces, and I did have a little design change while I was over at the machine. I was originally going to do this, but I thought that that might be a little too much black. So I thought a way to bring in the red was to make my background frame red. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to mount my vampire onto this frame, and I did use the precision plate to die cut this frame because it is very intricate. So I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to just pop that up. You know what, I have this tiny scrap here, so I'm going to cut this in half. So make sure you save your dimensionals when you get to the end. This is just an end piece, and I'm just going to cut those off. Nothing goes to waste. And I'm going to put one on the top and one on the bottom and peel the backing off. Here we go. God, I feel like this video is just so choppy, and I apologize if it is. And then I'm just going to put that right there, just to give it a pop of color. He's a happening vampire. He's got only the best in his little coffin. And then the last thing I'm going to do is take my knot that I made with some black satin ribbon and using a glue dot, I'm just going to attach this, and I'm going to put mine on the bottom because I think I brought my frame up nice and high. There we go. And there's a different version of Barbara's with the mummy and mine with the vampire. And inside, what I did for the girls, Barbara filled this with all kinds of yummy chocolates. I made little, these are 2x8 cello bags that I snipped. I filled them with candy corn, and I'm just going to drop those in there, and they make a really, really cute presentation. So I hope you enjoyed that. And again, I apologize. I really feel like this video was choppy. Here is Barbara's coffin, and here is my version. And again, what I used was the Monster Bash suite with the Monster Bash Designer Series paper, the Spooktacular Bash stamp set with coordinating ornate frames dies, stylish scroll embossing folder, and the coffin treat bags. If you have any question at all about this project or any of the products I use, please contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator with whom you currently work and you would like a copy of the holiday catalog, which is live through January 2nd, 2020, certainly contact me through my blog, and I will get that off to you as soon as possible. And again, my blog is www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. Thanks so much. Have a great day.